Hi everyone, my name's Amelia and I am a physiotherapist that has worked in all areas of pelvic health and including especially in the recent couple years with a couple pelvic pain and endo clinics. I have made Pelvy, it's an app to help support patients or people that either do have a pelvic health physio or don't have one to access pelvic health exercises. So that's pelvic floor with strength, coordination, relaxation, down training, and we have beautiful videos that are really key for anyone that needs to improve flexibility or mobility, but especially for people with pelvic pain. This has been a passion project for me, and we finally have launched so that patients can use Pelvy even if their clinician doesn't subscribe. In the last 4 months, we've launched so that clinicians like me, seeing patients every day, can add our custom programs into the app from our computer. We can add our advice, we can add more of our exercises from the library, but it was really evident that we can't get this into public health yet. And there are many clinicians that just aren't going to subscribe to Pelvy at the moment. Ideally, like, we are building those numbers and we've got over 100 in 6 different countries. But essentially, I wanted to launch something that you can recommend to your patients. And if you are a pelvic health physio, you can customize those programs. So I really am so excited to announce that we are launching, and I encourage you just to reach out to me if you have any questions. If you would like something that you can print with a QR code so patients can easily download, just let me know. I'm happy to email that to you. And I'm really excited to hopefully improve the adherence of patients so that they can actually do the things that they need to do to have a significant change. Pelvy has demonstrated that we increase adherence by 5 times for daily exercises. So this is something that I really genuinely feel is so needed in this digital age. We live our lives based upon reminders and things in our calendar, and Pelvy's able to do that. So please recommend to your patients, and if you'd like to learn more about the layout, about the exercises, and I've made this educational for GPs as well so that they can understand a little bit more about the exercises. If that's for you, these are things you already know as a physio, but I'm going to now take you through the app, how you can download it or how your patient downloads it, and then the general layout and everything that's in there. Hopefully you learned something as well. Thank you so much. Okay, so welcome to Pelvy. The patient has just signed in, and if you're not subscribing as a clinician, they just press no. They can choose what option suits them for a subscription. So once your patient logs in, they just need to enable notifications, and then they can get straight into Pelvy. So welcome, you've just opened Pelvy, and this is laid out so that our programs for pelvic floor, so pelvic floor with breath is a coordination type program, which I'll go through. We have belly breathing and down training, and we have pelvic floor strength. And essentially we have those 3 there. I'll go through them, and then we have videos of all of our exercise videos and some educational videos down the bottom. Our learn section is here, so if you're not sure what the patient should be doing, and this is just real key advice that everyone should be going through, I've got it in order, and then this can hopefully direct your patient to come up with their exercise or decide what's right for them if you're uncertain, and that's fine too. So pelvic floor strength down the bottom, essentially I've got it starting on a program so that it's slower to squeeze quickly, which is often where patients are starting off when we assess them the first time. Then we have some shorter holds, 5 seconds, and they can finish off with some belly breathing if they would like to help relax the muscles afterwards. So everything can be unclicked, or clicked, and we have some maximal holds at the end if they wish to do those, and that's when patients usually have been able to do some longer holds. Essentially, we go through all of this. You don't need to worry about customizing this for the patient. It's really based on what they feel that they can do if you're not able to assess them. And we go through how they can make this specific to them. Just so you know, this is how we set reminders on the for all the exercises. They can choose the times and press save. So if we go back, so pelvic floor strength is a bit more self-explanatory. We've got quick squeezes, holds, and submax holds, as I mentioned, but they're not enabled here. Then we have belly breathing and down training. So essentially when you press start, we're cueing patients to widen their belly and then just let it go and breathe out. So widening the belly, ribs, and waist is diaphragmatic breathing, which helps relax the pelvic floor. This is really key for providing opportunities for the pelvic floor to let go and soften. And this is really helpful to do, especially before you're doing any type of contract and relax exercises. So you see pelvic floor with breath up the top. This is actually, it looks like belly breathing, but what it's doing is it's cueing the patient to contract on an exhale, which is really helpful for if someone is doing pelvic floor and they need to work on how to time their contractions with breath. But also for people with pelvic pain, we get them doing contract relax exercises because this helps them realize what's on and off, and coordinating it with the breath makes it much easier to do that. It also helps them to bring blood flow to the pelvic floor by doing gentle squeezes and relaxations. So my tip is that patients are doing, and very popular tip of pelvic health clinicians, is that patients are doing down training and then they can do their contract relax. And our videos are, we go through mobility, so for hips, lower back, and that's intentional because before we get into these beautiful stretches, some patients will experience pinching in their hips and pain in their lower back. So it is helpful to, in a sense, warm up for stretches. So we start some stretches laying down. These are key for pelvic floor and just general abdominal relaxation. And then we have some stretches for hip flexors. So all of our stretches have options for having support, which means like they might use a pillow, or we show people how to use a ball if it's relevant. And we also show people how they can stretch with movement, which is really key for patients with neurodivergence, ADHD, and it helps patients to relax into a stretch. It's quite soothing as well for the nervous system. We have some male models as well because men have pelvic pain too. So essentially I really did include all of our really key pelvic stretches, and then I had to include the upper back mobility exercises as well. If we're thinking about patients who might use and benefit this app, of course, people with pelvic pain, but pregnant people, postpartum people, menopausal people, I mean, the whole general population has stiff upper back, don't they? And then we have some educational videos here if people aren't going into the learn section. And I put a bonus one in, which is so important, which is bowels and how to use their belly specifically with pooing. And we go through positioning advice as well. If patients are doing strength and they're not sure if they're using the right part of their pelvic floor based on their goals, then that's what this video is down the bottom. So in the learn section, and I wanted videos just in case people were not going to the learn section, but there's a bit of overlap. I would just like to say as well that ideally patients could all access a pelvic health physio. For many different reasons, there are lots of barriers, and if you're able to recommend this as a starting point, my intention is that we try to get people started with learning key education, doing key exercises, and we mention in this education section that if you're not improving within 3 months, you should have an improvement with pelvic floor exercises, even ones for relaxation. There should be some change to your symptoms. And if not, then this is a key signal that it's really important to access a pelvic health physio so that they can make the exercise specific for you or bring in other important advice that we all go through. I just thought in retrospect that I would just give a little bit of a demo of this section. I know it's too fast to read, but I tried to include videos because we had feedback that patients love to be able to watch videos about the education and not just read. I might just show you a typical exercise video. So let's do child's pose.
Set up for this lower back, lumbar spine and inner thigh stretch by positioning yourself on all fours. Widen your knees and then sit back on your heels. Reach as far forwards as you can while sitting back on your
So we're
heels.
demonstrating the stretch.
To feel this more, tuck your pelvis under by rounding your lower back. If this is too intense, put pillows under your abdomen and relax over the pillows.
So key for
if you feel pinching through your
patients to be able to
hips or your
relax into the
abdomen during this
stretch,
stretch,
especially those
use
with
an
pelvic
exercise
pain.
ball or lean your forearms on a chair.
How to use a ball.
To stretch with movement, rock your shoulders from side to side while holding this stretch.
And here's how to stretch.
Relax your belly and then gently widen your belly while breathing in. Let's start.
And then
relax your belly and gently widen your belly and ribs while breathing in during this stretch.
And this is cueing them to widen their belly.
Widen your belly, breathing in.
Because every patient with pelvic pain, I tell you, will contract
relax
their
your belly,
abdominals
breathing
when
out.
They're trying to do a stretch.
Widen your belly, breathing in.
What we're looking for. Okay, and then it goes through 3 sets.
Relax your belly, breathing out.
Stretches. Okay. So this is essentially the light version of Pelvy, and I really hope that this is going to make these key pelvic floor exercises more accessible and help support your patients who are experiencing any pelvic health symptoms or just want to improve their pelvic health. Please make sure you direct them to the Learn section and know that they can turn on and off the vibration and the audio cues and clicking on those push notifications if for some reason they are not working. You'll be able to see here that I've saved, and then, it's orange there.